And there we are. We are live. Hi. Glad you're here. You might. Oh, wait. Slow down, Zoom people. I didn't put you on the screen yet. Here's all my friends on Zoom land. There they are. Wave hi now. There we are. Good morning.
There we go.
And we should be able to have audio too. I'm going to take that view down. We should have audio. We have people who are watching on Facebook. People who are watching on YouTube, people who are watching. If you're on Facebook, please make sure, if you're on Facebook, make sure you're on this group, not the other one, so that we can all. I'm going to take that. If you're on Facebook, make sure you're on this group. That's quite an echo we're getting. Is that happening again? Is it just that one?
Fine.
Okay, we're going to talk about panic today.
What is eating?
Hold on. Well, welcome. This is the Saturday service. I'm Rabbi Brian. My uncle Ira said to me last night, he said, "Kid, you going to just make up another service there tomorrow?" And I thought, well, yeah, I think I am. And why am I making up a service is because I found the rote services that didn't make that much sense to me. And that I like a service where people are live and able to interact and engage. And so all of you who are here, and so lovely to see you, your microphones are unmuted. Because I want you to engage. I want us to have a discussion, and hopefully today we're going to be having a discussion about patience. We have a few things to do before that. If you find yourself muted, it's because one of my lovely co-hosts have muted you. And why have they muted you? Not because they don't like you, but because there's probably some sound on your microphone. And so again, if you find yourself muted, before you unmute yourself, do a little bit of a sound check around you, and maybe put that jackhammer down. And I thank whoever the one person, the solitary person laughing along.
That was me, Rabbi.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. So I want to start us off today with what we do quarterly, which is a little bit of a review of what is a spiritual life all about. Last week I talked about the fact that we don't often use the God word in this service, and somebody has pointed out to me calling it the God word makes it sound like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just I was spelling the word. That we don't talk about the God word because in a spiritual religious life, you can have a very healthy spiritual religious life without it being necessary to have a belief in a higher power. And those are separate ideas, a spiritual life and a belief in a higher power. There's overlap, but they're separate. So I want us to do a quick review this morning, and if you've done this with me before, please participate. But we have some little mnemonics to remind us of the different qualities of a spiritual life. First quality of a spiritual life, as demonstrated by these little ones, are, somebody help me out, what is that quality?
Hierarchy of values.
Yeah, that we have a hierarchy of values in a spiritual life, that a spiritual life is filled with being able to say this is right, that is wrong. And that being spiritual doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means saying I have love higher up on. Those are two swords fighting with each other. It's my little drawing for it. That love is more important than conquering and hate. Another quality of a spiritual life, represented by this one single arrow. That is, the quality of a spiritual life is that there's transformation, that we know in a spiritual life we're not stagnant, that we change. My favorite quote attributed to Thomas Merton says if the you of 10 years ago doesn't think the you of today is a heretic, you've not been growing spiritually. That a spiritual life is not about changing the world, it's about realizing that we can change. Another quality of a spiritual life. How many of you, just show, by a show of hands, how many of you know one of them without me drawing it? Do you remember another one of the 5 or 6 qualities of spiritual? You do. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Another quality of a spiritual life is, tell me what to draw. What am I drawing?
Questions are better than answers.
That in a spiritual life, we value questions. We say not knowing is important, that it is a quest. This is the part I just came up with, that it is a quest, and from that we have questions. That a spiritual life is filled with transformation and not being certain. That's being a spiritual life. Another quality of a spiritual life is infinity. Is this idea of connectedness, of feeling connected to each other, feeling connected to the world, feeling connected to everything at some point. That's a spiritual quality. I got 2 more spiritual qualities. Yeah, we're going to get paradox. So, and the way we're going to get to paradox, which is going to be number 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is going to say it's not about me. That a spiritual life is not about the individual. It's not about the self. It's about something greater than self. And so we get 5 and 6 both out of this. It is not about us, and at the same time it is about us. That a spiritual life is about saying that something and its opposite can both be true. Good job, everyone. We'll review this again next quarter, springtime. And Maria, thank you for keeping me abreast of which equinox we are at and how often we do this. Good job. We did that.
I've tried to take a screenshot of that little thing and I can't do it. There's somewhere you can get it so I can keep it.
Yes. I'm going to put a picture of this up in the Religion Outside the Box Clubhouse after the services on Saturday. I put all of the images that I put in the service go up here at the Religion Outside the Box Clubhouse, which you can find if you go to rotb.org and then click on the links to the clubhouse. You'll be able to download the picture of exactly this image. Although I like the images that you made. How many of you made an image? Can you hold it up to your camera so we can see it right now? Did you draw something out? There, you have it already done. I see a few of them. Look at that. People taking notes. Good job, people. Turn that back off. Uh-oh. There we go. For the next 5 minutes, I want to try something new. I'm going to start the stopwatch now. 5 minutes of what feather in your cap. If you had a feather to put in your proverbial spiritual religious cap, did you do something in the last week of which you are proud for having taken the higher road? Did you do something? Did you do a simple no thank you to someone? Did you do a, hey, I don't like that? Did you just take in a compliment? Did you ask for help when you needed help? Is there a thing that you did in the last week that you are a little bit proud of and you want to share? It's going to be a really long 5 minutes, folks. Go ahead, Betsy. Say it again.
My friend Elizabeth has been taking a composition class downtown at Portland State University. Had a performance of her string quartet she wrote on Thursday, and I went downtown to watch it and to be there and to listen to her work.
Oh, that's lovely. That's just lovely. Is there go ahead, Al?
Yeah, I thinking about stuff that I did at work this week, and I had an opportunity to compete with somebody, and I decided instead to cooperate with them.
Hey, bravo.
Well, you are good for you, Al. Nicely done. John, can you compete with that?
I I filled in for a friend whose wife has progressing dementia. And the short time that I was listening with her, I listened to the same story 7 times, minimum of 7 times.
Yeah.
Setting changed slightly, 2 or 3 times, but it was the same thing.
Yeah.
She kept coming back to, and without any reaction of you said that before or anything of that nature, I just politely listened and was with her.
That's beautiful, John.
That's good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Harold, Connie, what do you got? What?
This past week, we were invited to an opening of here in Texas Panhandle. We were invited to be part of a grand opening of a food pantry. And Harold has been doing food pantries for quite some time when we lived in Cleburne. And so to know that they have decided to open a food pantry for the community was a real blessing for us.
That's wonderful. Wonderful.
And Harold's going to work there.
Good job. Somebody else have a thing they want to share with the community? We got another minute or so of spiritual practices revealed.
I sat quietly and listened to friends of mine tell me it was all right to sit in my grief and that I did not have to get everything done in the same day.
That's
It would be there tomorrow.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Okay, I'm going to move us along. Thank you for participating in that. Let's do a minute of gratitude. People who haven't spoken, what's something you're grateful for this week? What's something you're grateful for right this minute? Let's take just a minute and hear out from people little moments of gratitude.
This subject, because I had none of it this week.
Okay, fantastic, Dolly. Ron, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, a poetry workshop. It was just wonderful. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What else? What do you have? Folks, gratitude is this weird thing that the more you express it, the more of it you have. So if you want to have a little more gratitude, here's a trick. Go ahead, Janet, and then Lynn.
I'm really grateful for my cousin Sue, who I own this house with and live with, because she's gone for a couple of days, and I realize how much I miss her.
Oh.
I'm grateful for the fact that we have the same sense of cleanliness. We have the same sense of morality. We have the same sense of joy and sense of humor. I mean, it's such an amazing blessing to be living with a person who's been my lifelong best friend.
Aw.
Oh, that's great.
That's lovely. Linny, what do you have?
I'm grateful that I've been connected with the Groundlings for almost 50 years. They're celebrating its anniversary, and they're having like conversations. Two people from the Groundlings get up, and I did my talk with Cassandra Peterson, Elvira, and it went fantastic. It couldn't. I was so concerned about it. I like did all this studying of the history of the groundlings and people's names, and one name was Carrie Furley Gargley, and I thought I'm going to have to say thank you, Carrie Furley Gargley.
And you did.
I didn't have to.
Okay.
There was no reason. She wasn't even there.
Okay.
You know.
Can we'll have a shout out to her right here, right now.
But it was like doing stand up in heaven. Everything that Cassandra and I said got a wonderful reaction. And I was just so happy that after, as people know, I've lost, we all have, loved ones not being there to share with me in the flesh. And the idea that I could have this much fun at
That's
77 and just be totally free and happy and have a body without pain and do what I feel I was meant to do, which was connect with people and bring them joy as they bring me.
Thank you, Lynn.
It just couldn't have gone better. So
That
I wanted to share that.
beautiful,
Yay.
beautiful. I'm gonna add in. We have a note here on. There it is on Twitch. I'm very excited. Chad and Lisa made Hamantashen for workplace this week, and everyone loved them. Thank you for posting that. If you're on Facebook and I didn't see what you wrote yet, thank you for posting there, Bob, and then Missy.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be part of this community.
Amen. Amen. Glad that you're part of this community too. Go ahead, Missy.
I'm grateful that my sister and I made that quick trip down to Florida last weekend and found that our aunt is doing so much better than we thought. She's thriving, and we thought she was really declining seriously. So the change in her environment has been just miraculous. I'm grateful for that.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you all for. Greg, yeah, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I'm certainly grateful for my wife and helping me with because of my limitations. She has helped me get up off the floor when I fell. She helps button my shirts if I can't get my fingers to work right. Just all kinds of things. And I let her know that every time she does something for me.
That's wonderful. It's really hard to ask for help, isn't it?
Yes.
It's really hard. Thank you for sharing, Greg. So we start before the recording started, before the service officially began. We were talking a moment about this this phrase that we've all heard, and sometimes we've even said to ourselves, which is "just calm down." And we talked about how futile this that doesn't do any good to tell someone just calm down. They're amped up. It doesn't work. And the corollary to it is just have patience. Just have patience. And I want us to talk about patience a little today. Oh, hold on. Let me just get this slide up for a second. Hold on. Just give me a second. Hold on. 1 second. Let me find my note. Shoot. Hold on a sec. It's not that one. Oh.
To inject a little bit of humor, you're taking more than
Okay, just one moment. Let me get the. I have a whole.
relax.
Calm down.
Have patience. Have patience, John.
I think he has a whole idea if he could just remember what it was.
I think the worst thing about telling somebody calm down is that you're essentially telling them that what you care about, what you're getting mad about, is not worth getting mad about, and 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 that person would think immediately that you are one of the enemy, one of the people that that doesn't care.
Yeah. Telling someone to calm down devalues them, devalues what they're doing. I was trying a moment ago to ask you, say, we're going to talk about patience, and I was just trying to, I made myself a little goal of trying to get 1 full minute of me pretending like I was trying to get a quote up on the screen or to do something to just to just to test the patience of the group, to give everyone. You didn't. Whoa, 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 whoa. There was. This was just a little theater trick to see what would happen if I pushed everyone on patience for a moment, and to give us a starting point. Patience is a.
I find it very interesting that everyone, well, not everyone, but people felt the need to fill the empty space.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Well.
sometimes it's hard to find empty spaces, so that's why I jumped in.
Yeah.
And when people start being humorous, I like jumping in. So
Yeah.
we're making jokes.
We do it to make ourselves a little more comfortable. So patience. Here's my starting point. Patience is a virtue, and I'm thinking about virtues. Patience is a virtue. My question is going to be, and then depending on the answer we get to the first question, the second question is going to be, well, then how? But the first question is, are virtues something that we believe we have the ability to progress in? Can we? So virtues are behaviors, are behaviors that are esteemable. Are we stuck with the amount of patience that we have? Did you wake up today and there's a exact amount of patience that you are allotted? Or can you learn? Patience is a virtue, and virtues are things we can learn, I think. So I want to start with that first part is, do we agree that virtues are like physical health? They're things that we can do to improve. Or do you not think that you can improve in the virtue of patience? So let's start with that. Is patience something that can be learned? Is this learned? Is this okay? Well, I'm going to do the good rabbi thing and say, let's start with the negatives. Can we not? Can someone give me an example of how patience is not something that can be learned? Go ahead, Joe.
I don't think it's something that you learn and get to some accomplished point ever. I think patience is a continuum that alters depending on your circumstances.
Yes.
Your own temperament and that sort of thing.
So here, for all of us math geeks, we're talking about something that is like an asymptote. That there's this point. Here's patience, and that there's going to be this line, and you can never exactly get. Oh, I'm drawing on the paper, and you can't see my little drawing. That there's this. Here's patience, and that we gain patience as we get older. But there's. It's not that you can ever get done. You're never going to be done with having patience. It's going to be something that we can learn, and we can have more patience than we did yesterday, but that doesn't mean that we have all the patience. Go ahead, Dolly, and then Janet.
Oh, okay. I was just going to lower my hand.
Okay.
I also think that
like.
Patience, we get tested on our patience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what it's affecting that I think determines how long that patience can go.
Okay.
Because I had a week of intense, no patience, screaming, yelling.
Yeah.
Because I had something affecting my business. I had no internet for 7 days.
Wow.
And I lost it with AT&T. So it's different situations have different levels.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. We have different levels of patience. Go ahead, Janet.
I think that you could write almost any word above that where you have patience, and that little chart would work for it.
All of the virtues.
And, well, almost everything. When do you actually get all the way there?
I'm going to put chocolate cake there, and I can definitely get to chocolate cake.
Yeah, I'd get sick before I ate the whole thing. You know?
Okay, we'll get you a cupcake. Go ahead, John.
There we go.
It seems to me that the virtues equate with the hierarchy.
With our spiritual.
Yes, exactly. And patience, among others, is situational. I would be leery of somebody who patiently sat on the railroad track stuck and patiently waited for somebody to come by and help them.
Yeah.
In spite of the train coming at them.
Okay.
Patience doesn't work all the time.
Correct. There are times that we need to have action. Wait, hold on, Al. I'm going to be with you in a second, but there was a quote from Thomas Aquinas that fits exactly what Jack just said. To bear with patience wrong done to oneself is a mark of perfection. To have patience when something is done badly to you, that is. To bear patience, hold on, I'm going to read this all again with my little pointy arrow. To bear with patience wrong done to oneself is a mark of perfection. Wonderful. But to bear with patience wrongs done to someone else is a mark of imperfection and of actual sin.
Oh, actually, that's kind of counterintuitive to what we've talked about loving ourselves as well as people, as well as other people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but my brain stopped working because I don't understand what that means at all.
So let me try to take this one down. To bear with patience wrongs done to oneself. You insult me, and I have patience with that. That's a mark of perfection. That means I'm doing things right. You tell me I'm an idiot, and I'm patient with you, or you tell me the same story 5 times, and I'm patient. It's a wrong done to me. To bear with patience wrong done to oneself is a mark of perfection. That means you're doing things right. But to bear with patience wrongs done to someone else, Black Lives Matter. To bear with patience the burden that people of color have in this country, to bear with patience those wrongs is a mark of imperfection.
Okay, now I get it.
And of actual sin.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for asking. My goodness, that's how we learn. Go ahead, Al, I apologize.
Yeah, no, actually, that Thomas Aquinas quote strikes me that Thomas Aquinas might not have had very good boundaries.
Okay, explain.
I'm impatient with things that happen to me, and I think that's a virtue at times.
I see.
Depends on what's being done to me.
Okay.
But the thought I had before was that whole notion of like be patient. Like patience isn't something that you actually can do. The more you try to do patience, the less successful you typically are. You actually have to do things like soothe yourself or things patience is more of an outcome than something you can actually put effort into and do.
Well, that's going to be the next question is going to be, okay, so then how do we cultivate if we think that patience is a virtue, and we think that virtues are behaviors, and behaviors are things that we can learn. My next question is going to be how do we cultivate patience? And I have answers for that. But let's finish this part of it, and then we'll get to how do we cultivate patience. That will be our next question. Go ahead, Carol. Carol, you are on mute, my friend. Not yet. There you are.
The way you cultivate anything by practice.
Right.
You don't learn to play the piano by not practicing. You don't learn to be virtuous or spiritual by not practicing. You decide what you want. You say, I want to be a think about it every day, and it begins to shape your whole consciousness. It's not something you have to be patient about it. You don't get enlightened in 5 minutes. These books that tell you 10 days for enlightenment, don't read them.
But
But I
patient,
think we can shape our lives so that they shape us, and we have a responsibility to do that.
I agree. Patience is a virtue. It's a behavior. It's something that we can get more of. How? By practice. Absolutely. I got a few comments. Go ahead, Ron, and then Missy.
I just want to point out that looking back over my life, I think it has been a lot easier to be patient with my grandchild than with my teenager.
Why?
There's a level of detachment. I get to wind the grandkid up and hand them back to their mother.
Right. Yeah.
That's just getting even for when they were your own younger children.
Go ahead, Missy. Thank you.
What struck me when you asked the how question, the first thing that came to my mind was forgiveness. So what I'm thinking is that they're all related, but the level of acceptance I can have for other people, the level of forgiveness I can practice for their humanness, increases my ability to have patience.
Yeah. So we can practice, and how do we practice patience? We can practice patience through forgiveness. And that goes for ourselves and others, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I got Ray, and then Michael, and then Paula, then Michael.
Well, to me, one of the things about patience and looking at that one quote is where does patience end and where does doormat begin?
Right.
Because if you're so patient and people keep doing the same thing to you, I mean, where does that change? Where does that stop? That would be my question.
It's a good question. I have all the some of you get on me about how I parent my children with regard to the dishwasher. And I am of as great patience as I possibly can be. And I know that that's the best way to be, and they will learn how to do the dishwasher with me being patient than not. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, a number of things. One is if we come to the idea of behavior that is learned, you have to learn, you have to get help.
Oh, that's a great way. Yes, we also need.
If we're going to change, we need help. We can't do it alone. It's psychologically, psychotherapeutically not possible. If you believe in that, you can take a drug and calm down. But if you're going to change, you need to learn how you learn. You need to get help.
And as go ahead.
Connected to patience is anger.
Yes. Bingo. Bingo. So this is a huge part. There's one of my favorite Sesame Street characters was named Hoots the Owl. Anybody ever know Hoots the Owl? Came around pretty late. Anyway, Hoots the Owl is trying to teach Ernie how to play the saxophone. And Ernie can't play the saxophone because he's holding on to his rubber ducky. And Hoots the Owl says, you got to put down the ducky if you want to learn the saxophone. Where the hell am I going with this? In order to have patience, we have to put down our anger. We have to put down our anger. If we believe, and I think we at least unconsciously at some levels believe that our anger is justified, we can't get patience. You can't get patience till you're willing to give up your anger. Baldwin, I can't remember his first name. Give me a first name for the author. James Baldwin, in the book Fire Next Time. I could remember the name of the book, not the author. In the book Fire Next Time, he said, I imagine the reason folks are so angry is because they assume that should they put their anger down, they'll be left to deal with their sadness.
Wow.
In order to have patience, we have to put down our anger. In order to put down our anger, we're going to have to, according to Baldwin, and I think this is right, we're going to have to look at all of this sadness that we just don't want to look at because it's easier, it's tastier. Who would, if you have a choice of being really, really sad or being angry, at least you feel powerful. Go ahead, Paula.
Well, I'm just thinking back to my time as a caregiver and dealing with disease. And I was always told, be patient, will get to you. Be patient, will get to you. And until I got angry and upset, and they got the point that, hey, I needed help.
Yeah.
That would get their attention. And I guess it's part of the spiky wheel gets the grease
Yep.
kind of thing.
And
But there's a point, like I believe Ray said, where patience,
at a certain point, patience,
isn't a virtue anymore. It's
yeah, getting walked over.
getting walked over. And the only way to let some people get the point is if you get angry or lose your patience.
Absolutely. It's an unfortunate truth. And as we said at the beginning, it's situational. There are different, this is not rules for everything. You're right, Paula. There are times to not be patient. Hey, how about in the face of war? Not a time to be patient. Go ahead, Michael, and then Ann and Emily. I got you. You don't have to keep your hand up. We'll get to you. I just want to get people in order. Michael.
Morning.
Good morning.
This has me thinking about attachment to outcomes and the whole idea of being walked over. The only person who can say I'm being walked over is me. Who was the psychologist who was in the concentration camps? I always forget his name.
Viktor Frankl.
Talk about being walked over and patience, but I think it's more than that. It's attachment to outcome and controlling. There's probably one thing that we can control, right?
That's exactly right. There's one thing that we can control if we work on it. And we work on it, and the only one thing we have control over is our reaction. Go ahead, Anne.
I think there has to be an element of hope or optimism. So you can be patient if you know that it is eventually going to get better.
Right. Unless
with your kids with the dishwasher, you can be patient because you know that they are going to improve. You have hope that you have the belief that they are going to improve eventually.
Correct. But there's also the other side of that is living with someone who's in declining health and who needs more and more patience. That's getting not better. Janet, Emily, and then Jack, I see your hand.
So that's exactly what I was going to talk about, the patience. I mean, I was always, my son's friends always said I was the most patient person in the world. But then I took care of my parents during the pandemic and up until when he died. So this is like 3 years of taking care of them. And it was like, sometimes I would just go, you're like a couple of giant toddlers, And they had a sense of humor about it, but my mom had dementia, my dad had physical problems, and I had to keep compensating for what was being lost. They were toddlers, but they were not going to get toilet trained. It was going the other direction.
Correct. Correct.
They were becoming less. They were enjoying food less and less. instead of getting tastes for new foods. It was like everything was being reverse engineered, and I was watching it and having to buy it like for 2 years by myself
Mm-hmm.
to try to protect them from getting COVID. I had to have a lot of patience, and you talk about a practice. I would get up in the morning, tired sometimes from being up in the middle of the night with my mom, and look in the mirror and see myself looking all haggard and do this. And I go, this is how I have to start the day.
Grin and bear it.
I have to go out there and face this way, not like looking like I've been, run over by a truck is what I felt like.
Yeah.
And so that was part of the behavioral change every single day was to do that. And I lost patience with my dad like 5 times in that 2.5 years. And boy, it's mostly about food. And he just like straightened up and flew right for a while.
Yeah.
That's it? Just 5 times?
Right. I really am one of the most patient people you will
Right.
I really only lost my patience with them 5 times because
yeah.
But they're nice people too. I really, even when my mom was off in some other land, not really right there, she was mostly nice. So.
Thank you, Janet. Emily, and then Jack.
Well, I think it depends on whether you're tired or hungry.
Right.
Pain, your patience.
Well, we talked about this. There was an acronym that we used a few weeks ago, which was HALTS. That all of our reactions are going to vary depending if we are hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or sick.
Right. Whoops, I better take care of that.
Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I just reminded of the acronym, aphorism that I sent you the other day.
You're going to have to remind me, buddy.
You know, patient in your steps.
Yes.
And you have contentment in your life.
If you can have patience in your step, you'll have contentment in your life. The more patience, the more contentment. Yeah, beautiful. We're still going to get to the how question. Go ahead, Michael O, and then Michael P.
Oh, Michael B. Michael O.
You are Michael O.
That's me.
That's you.
I have a client who has ALS, and we've been talking about Job and belief in God. And he is teaching me about patience, but my cynical brain is like he's chosen to believe that he's going to wake up a second later after he dies and be in heaven. And my cynical brain is like, well, he's choosing that belief, but for him it's working.
Mm-hmm.
So who am I to say what's real or not real, or what, how patience.
The proof of the pudding is in its eating.
Way, right?
However he gets the patience, let's. I'm glad for anything
what
that.
What can I learn about that? What does my cynicism have to say about that? I mean, I can't flick a switch and make myself go, oh yeah, I'm going to heaven, whatever.
So there's a lot of questions to ask, Michael, but it's what you
Taking us in a sideways direction.
No, I asked you to think of yes, but good. And let's think of come back next week. Tell us what you learned about where your cynicism might help you not have patience, or might help. There's something with your cynicism and patience. I don't know the relationship between the two. Anyone have a brilliant idea?
Oh, I have an idea, but I don't know how brilliant it is.
Oh, it will be brilliant.
I think what you're doing by listening to him and not contradicting him is perfect. What you're doing is being open at the top, listening to what he believes in, listening to his ideas, and not going, that's ridiculous.
Can you imagine?
You're doing exactly right. You're being a friend. You're being however you're helping him. You say that he's a patient of yours. So you're doing exactly right. Listening to him, being open, being loving.
Okay, I got to do a quick timeout and see, Michael, does your cynicism prevent you from taking that compliment in?
No, definitely not.
Good.
Listening is, that's the easy part, and accepting it. I'm not attached to believing in God or not believing in God. You know what? I wish I did.
Hmm.
Maybe I do. I don't know. But it would make life easier if I did.
That's a whole can of worms we're not going down today.
Yeah.
But thank you, Michael P, and then Jeff.
Michael P. Well, just a number of things very quickly. I'm thinking of the correlation or the connection between patience and however we're defining it is what you do, and the quality, the state of being, which is humility.
Oh, wow.
Because I know you can't get to humility according to some great philosophers of religion and spiritual people without coming to terms with anger. So humility, I think, is more in the area of virtue, perhaps, more clear. And then the whole conversation is moving into the area of caregiving.
Mm.
And I think this is what this group is. This form of religion is about community and about help. So it's not just about someone helping; it's about more help and more help and more help.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That's coming very clear.
I love this question you bring up. Is there's some relationship between humility and patience? I don't. They're synonymous. I don't think I knew. I did not know that until right that moment. Go ahead, Jeff.
There's another part of this, having patience, is serenity. There's a great quote: high expectations, low serenity; low expectations, high serenity.
Correct.
And part of patience is serenity. If you can have patience, you can be serene in how you approach them.
So,
can I add one thing?
Yeah, go for it.
When we were going over the virtues, one of them are the spiritual qualities. One of them is infinity, the infinite, encountering the infinite. But I wanted to, bring in equal value is finite. Coming to terms with
yes.
Truth of finity.
And this was Alvin Reinus's idea of the why we need religion is because we as human beings are acutely aware of our own finitude. Okay.
It doesn't negate infinity. It just says we're in this conversation.
So let me get to the how. What we've spoken of so far, and we'll take a minute for prayers, but I want to leave us with this thought here. Patience is a virtue. Virtues are behaviors. Behaviors can be learned. How? By practice, by forgiveness, through humility, serenity, through giving up anger, we can find more patience. I'm going to offer you a suggestion. This is one of my favorite tricks on how to get patience. You're on the call with AT&T or anyone else. And at the end of that call, they say, is there anything else we can do? Is there anything else we can do for you? And they've already fixed whatever problem or not fixed whatever the problem. But the very end of every scripted customer service call is there anything else I can help you with? And what I've started doing, I'd love to offer for you to do, is to say to them, I have a question. How do you stay patient? And you can elaborate or not. You work in customer service. I'm sure you have some tips on patience. What do you have on what tips do you have about patience? How do you stay patient? And just by bringing it up the 3 or 4 times in the week that you're going to be talking to someone in customer service, I've asked people, the baristas at the coffee shop, I say, hey, how do you stay patient? I found the more I ask people how they stay patient, the more it stays in my mind. And the more it stays in my mind, I think the better I can get at doing it. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, in the wintertime, I tell them, sure, you can come help shovel the snow. And in the summertime, I tell them, sure, you can help weed the garden.
Okay, in the spring and the fall, as it's spring, I'm going to suggest we say to them, sure, you can tell me how to stay patient.
Oh, okay.
Winter and summer go with what Bob said. Fall and spring go with what I'm asking. Maria? There you are. Hi, Maria. Hi, Maria. I think we have a lot of people to say some prayers for this week. Would you be so kind as to read those names out?
Okay. These are the people to whom we are sending light and love. Ken and Joe, Anne, Sheridan H., Peggy and Al Aladad, the Shinwari family, Bill and Karen, Michael Watkins, Jacob Roberts, David Schleiflers, Ida Byrne and Jason Padilla, John in Spirit and Marilyn D., Jennifer, Shannon Guggenheim, David Devendorf, Pat Jenkins, Carla Banassi, Philip Keener, Maggie and Schmooley, Meredith in Spirit, Heather and Arlen, Jim and Ruth, Michael Polisky, Donna Dubane, and Al Kranis, Danelle and Brian, and Mary Q, Shirley Wayness. If there is another person in our community to whom we can offer light and love, please put their name in the chat, and I will add them to the list in the clubhouse. And for the people who aren't named, but who are in our thoughts, we send them light and love as well.
Thank you, Maria. Let's take a minute of time. Oh. All right, thank you all for that minute. I want to bring a quote up from Lao Tzu from the Tao Te Ching. I'm going to read it out. Here it is. It says, the ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can do is describe their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master does not seek fulfillment, not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles? Can you remain unmoving until the right action arises by itself? And the answer, of course, is no. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and water is clear? No. No, wait, come on. That's somebody else. I'm teasing.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Missy?
I just really appreciate that quote, because one of the things I was thinking when Michael mentioned the only thing we have any control over is our own reaction, and that isn't always immediate, because we get triggered and we don't have any control for a moment or for more than a moment of what goes through our mind. And then that whole piece of weight that was so poignant for me.
It is.
Just give it a second and let that trigger cool off.
John? Thank you, Missy. John, do you have something?
My answer is yes.
You have the patience to wait till your mud settles.
We all have the patience to wait till the mud settles. Going back to Carol's point, we seldom practice.
Right. Okay. Well, hi, folks.
It's an innate quality that we all have, but to find it,
right,
a lot more patience and practice than we're probably prepared to give it most of the time.
Okay, I'm going to say, fuck that. Let's do that starting now. Let's all... Like, this is not for anyone else. This is for you. This is for me. I have the ability to wait till my mud settles. I just often choose not to. Dolly?
What kind of came to me when we had that moment after reading the names, I found myself doing the serenity prayer, and someone talked about serenity. And I thought to myself, if I could have done that this week, my blood pressure would have stayed a lot lower. So serenity, I think, and just reminding ourselves to do little things, like saying that in the moment.
Yeah.
I think can help.
I lost my shit this week. My Quicken, we're doing our taxes. Quicken, the program that we use on the computer, insisted that I pay for an update, which I did, and then the thing fucking crashed. And I lost my patience. We all do. And it's okay. So here's a question. I'm going to give everyone homework. That's the homework.
Do nothing.
See if you can't, between now and, if you can be 1/60th more patient this week than you were last week. Oh my God. And that might just be with being patient with ourselves after we lose our shit. Losing your shit doesn't mean you're out of the game. Right? Okay. Everyone knows what your homework is? Go ahead, Michael.
No, I'm excited about this.
Good, good.
I'm excited about it because we can look at this as that moment when you want to explode or not as an opportunity.
Yes.
Can you imagine? You know, when you're first up and you're ready to fight and say, "Got him!" Finally, that explode. That's actually the moment when you're invited to pause.
Yeah.
And implode instead of explode.
Oh.
And then see where that goes.
And also, after you explode, that's a time to have patience with yourself too.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Okay. So let's all have patience a little more, and we'll report back next week. Michael, you were going to look at the correlation between something and humility. Okay. Folks, let's all let me put everyone on the screen so we can all wave and say goodbye. Goodbye to our friends on Facebook, because we're going to stop the recording now.
Bye.
Oh, I can't. I frickin' forgot what. There it is. There's the control. Goodbye, Facebook.